Hey, it's your pal Gus. I came to talk to you again. I guess we're pals because this is only the second time I'm meeting you, but I figured we're pals because it's the second time I'm meeting you. But I came to talk to you today about 420 day and kind of put a bug in the air to see if you guys would be uh, in the frame of considering that we change it to Happy 420 Cheech and Chong Day or Hippie 420 Cheech and Chong Day or Hippie 420 Cheech and Chong Bong Day. Those are just a few options. But just to kind of expound upon the 420 theme a bit. So, with that said, I'd like to tell a story about I was in the one of the cafeteria restaurants on lot, and I was getting some coffee and some food, and a gentleman comes up next to me and is getting some food, and we just kind of start chatting a little bit, and I realized about 30 seconds or a minute into it that I'm talking to J.J. Walker from Good Times. And so I asked him, "Are you J.J. Walker from Good Times?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Could you photobomb me?" And he said, "I'm not interested in that." And I said, "Do you know Vic Dunlop, who was a comedian who has since passed, but was basically cutting his teeth on the comedy circuit around the same time that J.J. Walker was around doing it?" And Vic was a super good guy, super funny too. He has a bit where he takes those red eye. They look almost like swimming goggles, but they have little holes in them, and they have red eyes, and you can put them on your eyes, but you can see out of them, but they look like your eyes are bloodshot. And he does a bit where he puts them on as a cop pulls them over just to play with them. It's a hilarious bit, and Vic was a funny guy. He was a mentor of a friend of mine, Terry Joyce. So anyways, I wound up talking to J.J. Walker, and we talked for about 20 minutes, and I felt like I was in class, like in comedy class. And the one of the questions I asked him was, who do you think kind of changed the playing field of the comedy game? And he said Cheech and Chong, which was interesting because I thought he would say like Richard Pryor or Red Fox or George Carlin or Lenny Bruce or maybe an old school comedian that was before them from like the vaudevillian circuit. And he said Cheech and Chong. And I said, why? And he said, well, because they worked in character for one, and two, they started working in casual attire, which was in character, but it was like up until that time, a large portion of the comedians that were out were dressed like they dressed up. They wore a suit or wore almost formal attire when they went to perform. So this allowed basically kind of a different take on things to kind of come out. So, which I found very interesting. And then the thing connected with that was, as a kid, I actually saw Cheech and Chong live in concert at the Latin Coliseum in Vegas, circa 1976, and it was right at the time that King Kong was coming out, because I remember on the news they had a place with Levi's, that they were selling Levi's, and you got a chunk of the King Kong's hair, like first 100 customers or something buying Levi's or something like that. But I just remember being on the radio. And I remember a kid from my neighborhood, we went together, and then his brother and his brother's friend were down like in the front rows with a couple dates, and we were up in the nosebleeds watching with binoculars. But we got a chance to go see Anne Margaret later that night, so we got two shows in one night, and I watched Anne Margaret with binoculars and saw one of her boobs almost pop out. But that is my story of Cheech and Chong, and I hope you guys will consider the change from 420 to Happy 420 Cheech and Chong Day. And we'll see you later. Bye.